Hello, everybody. This is Randy Jones with Ething. I appreciate you joining us for our session today, where we're going to talk through some of the top plugins in the industry that our customers really enjoy utilizing. I'm really excited for this session. We do an awful lot of webinars. Not many webinars do I get to bring a bunch of friends along with me, so that makes this one a little more fun. We've got a couple different folks. Dr. Tanya Rani has joined us from IntelliBoard. You want to say a quick hello?
I do. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. We're super excited to be here with you today.
And Jeff Campbell. Jeff, hey, I appreciate you jumping on with us as well.
Yeah, hey, everyone. Thanks very much for coming. Thrilled to be here.
Excellent. And Johnny Corlett, and where Johnny is, it is 4 o'clock in the morning, and he has come into the office super bright and early to join us today. Hey, Johnny, that's an extraordinary effort. We really appreciate it.
Pleasure to be here, Andy, and great to be here with Jeff and Tanya.
Great. So we're going to go ahead and shut our webcams down and get into the meat of the session here today. All right, so quick agenda for today. What the plan is to give you a little bit of background on Ething. I looked through the registration list. I think I know, or at least have heard from our team of most of you. I see a lot of clients. I see some folks that we're talking to and that we've met at different conferences around the world, but I am going to give a quick introduction to Ething, and then we'll go one by one through each of our different partners and give them 9 to 12 minutes or so to chat through their solution, the integrations that they have with Moodle, and just give you a quick overview with the hopes of maybe drawing your interest and then potentially leading to a follow-up conversation. And I'll say this group especially, someone said about Ething years and years ago that it seems like our team had the good person gene, which has always stuck with me. I thought that was a great compliment, and this is definitely a group that has the good person gene, so it should be a great session. So for those of you who maybe aren't as familiar with Ething, we are a premium Moodle partner and a platinum Totara partner. We've grown to become the largest Moodle partner in the world. We were recently named the North American Moodle Partner of the Year, but we do have offices in Canada and London, as well as here in Baltimore, and clients truly all around the world, from the UK to the UAE, all the way over to Guam, and pretty much everywhere in between. We separate ourselves from the market with our service model. We provide what we call a fully managed solution for Moodle Workplace, and Totara. Simply means that we picture ourselves as the extension of your team responsible for your learning management system. Generally speaking, most organizations are really unhappy with the service level provided to them by their LMS. So we've tried to flip that on its head. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Moodle. It is the most widely used LMS in the world, and it is, I think the main point I'll make here is best to be deployed by experts. If you are self-hosting Moodle and doing an extraordinary job, kudos to you. It is not an easy thing to do. That's what our team does for our clients, and we've had 80-some of our clients move to us from self-hosted environments. But we become the experts that take care of your Moodle, that configure it appropriately, make sure it's scalable, make sure it's the ideal learning environment for your learners. And exciting news, Moodle Workplace has recently been launched. It's done extraordinarily well. We have quite a few clients already signed up for Moodle Workplace, some already live. The consultants that we've shown Moodle Workplace to have given really, really incredibly positive feedback. And the multi-tenancy here, I think, is the key feature. The improved UI, UX, and the hierarchies, and programs, and global certificates, all are really tremendous. But the differentiator that the market seems to be clinging to the most is that multi-tenancy. We're not going to show Moodle Workplace today. But if you do want to take a dive into it, let us know. It's not true open source as core Moodle is, in that you can only have a premium Moodle partner host and support a workplace for you. So happy to have that conversation another time. And then, of course, we also provide Totara, a great solution. We were the 2018 Global Partner of the Year for Totara. And what we do when someone's coming in looking for an LMS is we do a true needs analysis and then decide which of these 3 LMS solutions is the best fit. As opposed to trying to shove a square peg in a round hole, we're going to make sure that we choose the appropriate learning platform for each and every client of ours. And in both of these open source products, the learning ecosystem is tremendously important. We as Ething position ourselves as the hub, the learning hub, where the LMS that lives in the middle of this learning ecosystem, and clients are always coming to us saying, hey, I want to accomplish X. What do you think? How do I do that? How should I do that? Who should I turn to? Having a network of partners that we know and trust, that we can turn to, is tremendously important for our team and for our clients. So as we position ourselves here at the middle of the learning ecosystem, best of breed, we want our clients to choose the best analytics platform for themselves, the best gamification, the best training management software. And here on the line with us today, I think are our favorites in those different areas. So let's jump over to IntelliBoard. And they've been perhaps our oldest, or one of our oldest partners, and we have a tremendous amount of experience working with the IntelliBoard solution and the team. And I've known Tanya for a lot of years. A lot of Ething clients are big fans of their analytics and reporting platform that's just really robust, tremendously easy to use. So Tanya, my friend, I'm going to go ahead and turn my screen off. I will jump in here and give you control.
And just for clarity, when he said that we were the oldest, he was talking about the longest duration, not that we are the physically oldest. I'm just throwing that out there.
Right.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yes.
All right. Yes, I just want to make absolutely certain. Can you see? It's not giving me an option of which screen to see.
I see your Gmail. Yeah.
And let me minimize that. So it gave me the other screen. Now what do you see?
Beautiful.
All right, fantastic. It didn't give me the option to choose. So, okay. All right, everybody, thank you so much for allowing all of us to be here today. Hopefully some of you are familiar with the IntelliBoard platform. We are the premier reporting and analytics plugin for Moodle, Totara, and Middle Workplace. So we integrate seamlessly with all 3. Randy, I'm going to rely on you to yell at me, but I do have my clock going just to keep me on time. Okay?
Okay, that sounds like a role.
I know. I figured you would really enjoy that role, so that's why I thought that would be a good idea. So you can just yell at me to keep me in line. That's fantastic. Okay, so folks, what I did was I logged into our demo Moodle site and I clicked on over using the single sign-on link to what is ultimately the super admin view of IntelliBoard. I noticed that a couple folks, when they were answering where they were, there was at least one from Hamburg, one from the UK that I could tell. So I just want to kind of really begin from that standpoint and get kind of GDPR out of the way and talk about how IntelliBoard actually works. This is going to provide you real-time data. IntelliBoard displays the Moodle data that stays inside of your Moodle site. We do not copy, store, or duplicate your Moodle data. It stays inside of your Moodle site, and we present your data to you in this super admin view as a JSON object in a temporary session. So just wanted to kind of get that out of the way and let folks know that we are not storing or duplicating any data. So this is the dashboard. However, this dashboard can be modified in any way to be able to suit the super admin and what the super admin wants to see. You can see when I float over or hover over this aggregate site visits heat map, I get additional data, right? I can see 3,696 page visits at 12 p.m. on Thursday. This is our heat map for the week. This is our heat map for the year. This data is demo data. It is lovingly, consistently generated by our very poorly paid interns. So it's real data, but it's also fake data. So I just want to make sure to point that out. What I love about this, of course, is that we can zoom in and see where our friends are located. And of course, when I hover, I get, again, additional details. And it tells me where all of our users are. Okay, so in the interest of time, I'm going to kind of jump over to our monitors, and I'm going to jump to the performance monitor set. These are monitors specifically that will talk us through the what we've got going on in our system. So this is a collection of monitors that we give you just so that you can see what's going on in your system, and you can see that we have multiple other ones over on this side, learners and courses in the nav menu. What I like about this one in particular, as far as the HTTP requests, is that you can actually see what resources are being utilized in your system. And so, for instance, I usually pick on Turnitin as a paid plugin. So if you happen to be using any kind of plagiarism checker, this will obviously be recorded in the HTTP request, as well as multiple other reports that we have, so that you can monitor this use of these paid plugins and make sure that they're being adopted, or maybe you need to move them on. So I like to point those out. It's really cool to be able to create a monitor set. So I will create this one, and since it's March, we'll call it March. And I'm going to grab a few monitor sets that I really like. I like these. I'll grab a few other ones just because I want you to be able to see that this is responsive. I'll go to today's activities. So you can see that it's responsive. When I grab these, then it immediately populates. More importantly, I want you to be able to see in the nav menu on the left is that this monitor set that we just created is now available to you. So this is the most important thing. So the HTTP requests, right, that's the one we covered. However, most visit courses is one of my favorite, and it's always why I drag it over, because this allows you to take a look at courses that are happening, right? We can see compliance, 11,000 clicks, right? We can see HR protocol, 11,000 clicks. Okay, well, this is fantastic, right? What is going on in these courses that is creating such engagement in them, and could we possibly duplicate this, right, into our other courses? So it allows us from an appreciative inquiry standpoint to say, hey, you know, what's happening here, and can we do this again? Can we make this happen? If we come down to maybe these courses, we've got English 3000, business writing, forensic science. Okay, we probably know that forensic science is a lab course, right? So it's a face-to-face course, it's a lab, there's not a whole lot of activity going on. We are not concerned about this forensic science course. But English 3000, business writing, we know those are fully online courses, and now perhaps there may need to be some panic involved in why is there such a low amount of activity happening in these courses. Okay, so those are our monitors. We have a gazillion of them. I wish I could show them to you all, but Randy very meanly only gave me 10 minutes. So I'm jumping to reports. And I want to be able to point out, friends, that we have just a ton of reports. There's about 120 of them. And I'm very quickly going to kind of open and scroll through. You can see user engagement. You can see inactive users. These are reports not for instructors, but on instructor behavior. We have course reports on all usage, course content utilization, course access details, engaged, not engaged totals. And then I'm going to open up activity reports so that you can see that we have reports on all activities, but then we've also broken out multiple activity types. And my favorite is the quiz section, where you can actually see all of this rich data on assessments, which I adore. So I'm going to kind of work with a report, and I'm going to bring up learner success and progress. And again, I reiterate that this particular report is running live. And we can see here that I'm looking only at the academic program. The academic program here, this is a custom user profile field for us, right? So we have selected business administration to look at this custom user profile field. I'm going to select it off. The report runs again because I've changed the parameters of the report, and now I can see multiple academic programs here. I can see here that I'm only looking at a subselection of grades. And what's important here is that when you are trying to assess learners at risk, you have the ability to be able to define institutionally or even departmentally what it means to be at risk. And I frequently bring up the example of community colleges in the United States. They have two programs pretty much everywhere, in particular the nursing program and the cosmetology program. The nursing program at most schools is basically a B- or lower. So if you have a B- in a nursing program, you're failing in that nursing at that school. If you have cosmetology, if you have a C or lower, you're failing. So it doesn't need to be consistent, is what I'm saying, when you are looking at learners at risk. You can change this at any time. So if I deselect and I go with C or lower, come back up here. I want to run it, but let's see if it'll let me. There we go. And I run it again, and now we see learners at risk, right, with that parameter shift. Okay, I can do anything I want to with this. I don't know if I'll have time to do it right this second, but we can email it, we can SFTP it, we can schedule it. And when we schedule it, we can send it to anyone at any time. Hourly, if you don't like them, weekly, monthly, it's up to you, so that they can stay on top of the people who they need to stay on top of. And so there are just numerous ways from an engagement and retention standpoint to really be able to create interventions for learners and improve learning overall. So I also want to be able to show you Build with Max. This is an awesome tool. So if the 120 some odd reports that we have are not floating your boat, then you can create your own. So
Tanya, I'll give you a 2 or 3 minute warning here.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm doing pretty well. So I'm gonna say March 1, and I'm gonna say active. And now you're gonna watch, or see rather, the report build out as I click the information that I want to see in this, okay? And we can go down to courses, and the data becomes available as I open different kinds of fields, okay? So now I'm working with this, but if I want to be able to visualize that data, I can do this. And you can pick any visualization that you think that works for you in terms of how you're displaying your data. Okay, and you can save that. It becomes a report. You can schedule it. You can do any kind of emailing. It becomes one of your own personal reports in the same way that the existing reports do. I'm going to cancel that. And very quickly, I will end with organizational roles and sub-accounts, and let you know that you have the ability to allow organizational roles in your institution to be able to access IntelliBoard data. An example I usually use is engagement and retention. In the US, many folks are dealing with student retention advisors, right, or student academic advisors. Those folks have a subset of students that they are responsible for. And inside of IntelliBoard, you can create an organizational role called Student Success Advisor, and then assign specific students to those folks, and they can get their own reporting. they can get the reports that you personally make available to them. So it's 11 minutes and 24 seconds, Randy. And thank you all. Thank you all so much for your time. And I hope you all have a great day.
Excellent. Well done, as always, Dr. Ronnie. I appreciate your time here today. Next up, we're going to talk a little bit about Motrain, who they provide a motivational design platform. That platform utilizes gamification to improve the results of online learning. And they're working with different organizations that look to maximize their internal training initiatives, but are finding themselves just busy with customer training programs as Motrain opens up a marketing channel. So they integrate really seamlessly with both Moodle and Totara. And before I turn it over to the founder and director, Jeff, I do want to mention if there are any questions for Tanya on IntelliBoard, please do throw them in the questions pane. We'll make sure they get answered. But for now, Jeff, hey, I really appreciate your time. I'm going to go ahead and make you the presenter, and the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thanks very much for the kind intro there, Randy. Can you see my screen there?
Perfect.
Let's see if I can try and get out of there. Full screen now?
There
Awesome.
It is.
Again, thanks everyone for coming today. As Randy mentioned, I'm the founder and director of Motrain, and I've come at our platform with a background in public education, and I was using Moodle in a blended environment, and I wasn't entirely happy with what I was getting out of it on the LMS side of things. And so that led me down, excuse me there, that led me down the path of gamification, and I started to use basically all of the plugins that were currently available. And when I got into that, I wasn't entirely happy with the behavior changes that I was getting out of those. I could see the mechanics behind them, but I wasn't really seeing the student motivation and engagement changes that I was really after. And so from that standpoint, I actually started to look at, you hear about motivation and engagement being tossed around as a strategy or as an important thing to have in your e-learning environment. And so I was really curious on, well, what did those actions really look like on the LMS? And can we target those specific behaviors that lead to learning? And so from this list here, we're looking at really just driving an improvement in learning from encouraging or enhancing those behaviors. And so starting out, you could look at course enrollments as really, if you can't get people into your learning environments, well, obviously no learning is going to happen. And that really, that one there it sounds really obvious, but for example, if you are starting a customer training program with non-employees, what strategies do you have in place to really make that process easy or encourage the most or the largest number of customers to actually come and engage with your learning program? So that's the first one that we target. The next one, timeliness and frequency. Obviously, we want our learners going into the platform as soon as they possibly can and as often as possible. Course completions are another large target area for us, and that's just due to the fact that course completion rates can be notoriously low in some programs. And so obviously, if you're looking at an ROI of your training programs, then that's one that is a pretty easy metric to really measure. Mastery is another, I would say, kind of a pet project of mine, and we don't probably have time to really dive into it today, but you can use the restrict access and the conditional release of activities within the Moodle and Totara environments, and with our platform, you can really leverage it. And so it's doing a nice job of getting learners to go above and beyond what's minimally required. And the last point on this slide here, looking at the personal connection, I always felt that e-learning has a bit of a sterile environment to it. And so I'm really big now on this whole concept of building a community of loyal learners. And so we do that through a really personalized experience. And so working with gamification, I was, again, I used the plugins that were available, and I'm fortunate to live in Vancouver, which has a large video game industry. And so I spent a number of months interviewing and working with game studios and learning about the strategies that they use to keep people coming back into their platforms. And through those conversations, I really identified what was the struggle with the gamification in the LMS platforms. And those are reward fatigue and indifference, where learners just get tired of earning the same digital stickers and often just don't care about them over a small period of time with that. And a lot of that comes down to the fact that in those systems, the learner has no autonomy. There's no choice in what they're receiving from this gamification experience. And those badges and stickers come through typically as this systematic kind of just delivery. And there's really there's no randomness, there's no intrigue to it. And so it becomes a bit more sterile. So we wanted to address that in how we built out our platform. And so the way we've done that is we've introduced a virtual currency. And as Randy mentioned, we work with both Moodle and Totara. And so what you're seeing on this picture here is just a picture of the block from the student dashboard. But we have a plugin and block that talks to our whole system. And the way it works is as learners go through activities, they complete activities and courses, they can earn, in this case, coins. And we can customize those coin values specifically to each activity and each course as they're marked complete by the criteria set on the LMS. And so those coins come across into their wallet, which can then be spent in a store that's run by the organization through our dashboard. And on that store, this is where the creativity comes in, and the organization can put in any opportunity or even physical items that they want to offer to their learning environment. And what we want to do then is make that really personal. And so we've actually addressed this whole multi-tenancy idea of taking a single instance of an LMS, and then through the use of cohorts or audiences, we can display a specific store to a specific group of learners. And so you can really get that personalized experience based on either what type of learner they are in terms of the training or learning that they're taking, or maybe you're wanting to separate those stores out based on, say, geographical separation within an organization. And so the concept of motivation really comes down, in our opinion, to this with our environment is we wanted to have this I call a motivational loop, where the learners are going into the LMS to earn that virtual currency. But as a game designer, you want to have a place to drain those coins to maximize that motivational loop there. So it's going to keep them coming back into that learning environment and again, shape those behaviors that we're looking at to improve learning. And so our use cases at the moment are pretty broad. As Randy mentioned in the beginning, we really have been spending a lot of time. We have actually a school related platform called Motivated, and it has like an avatar building component to it. So that's where we started, but then the corporate side has really gotten a lot of interest. So we spun out Motrain as the kind of the twin sister there. And in the corporate environment there, we are spending a good deal of time with employee training, but the last 6 months as customer training has become a really big part of what we do. And as you can see, there's a number of different learning environments that we can work in. And I just wanted to finish off my slide deck with a case study that we're really proud of, and that's our most active client is Watts Water, and they are a global water technology company, and they're using our platform in their customer training program. And so what they've done is they've branded their own tokens and made it look pretty nice. This block makes it look pretty nice. And they've started out what's called the Learn and Earn program. And they're targeting contractors, plumbers, engineers, wholesalers, distributors. And the way their program works is that when customers enroll in their program and do the training, they can earn these tokens that can be spent on the Watts branded merchandise. And so what they've done is they've brought in their whole marketing team and got them involved in looking at what kinds of, in this case, items that can be put into the store and be purchased by these customers. And then we took it another step further, and we've integrated their store with a third-party fulfillment provider, and who is then shipping these items all over North America to the customers that are doing this training. And one of the cool things that they've done too is our platform allows them to add tokens manually to any learner. And so what they've done is they put a little flyer in each of those boxes that are getting mailed out, and it says like, hey, thanks very much for doing our training there. We hope you enjoy your branded merchandise here. If you take a picture of yourself using it and tag us on social media, we can add another 300 tokens to your account. So they're really connecting this whole marketing channel to the learning environment. And the last slide here is really to show you, okay, so what happens when after 3 months of using this program here, they tried a customer training program for 10 months and got 374 customers to sign up, who collectively completed 2,000 courses. And since adopting Motrain, in just 3 months of time, they signed up almost 2,400 customers who completed over 28,000 courses. And so this massive explosion in their customer training success has led to us now we're expanding this program from North America. We're going to the EU. Unfortunately, we've hit a snag, as everybody else probably has, with a bit of the expansion with this bug that's going around. So we have connected to an Italian fulfillment provider, so really excited about the next couple of months here and rolling this out into the EU. So the last little bit I thought I should show you is what it looks like in the LMS. And so coming into in this case, a Moodle a dashboard here, you can see the learner here is going to have their wallet here just, that's showing how many coins that they have to spend. And in here, you're seeing everything right now. As a manager or as a teacher, we have single sign-on to the dashboard to manage this. We also have a mobile app that you can connect to, so it's an easy QR code generator to get them in. We have leaderboards that can be turned on and off if that's something that's appealing to this specific group of users. But let's go into the fun part, which is the store. And this is where, again, this store is being displayed to the user here in a particular cohort. So it's very personalized. And the way we try and drive the motivation engagement on the gamification side and address those problems that we talked about is that we can list items and opportunities in the store in 3 different ways. So the first one here you can see is we've got it's called a direct purchase, where if you have enough coins, in this case, you could just purchase the item directly. And then we've got a few other ways to increase the uncertainty and the game of random chance there, which is raffle draws and auctions. So in this case, the raffle draw here, where we want to have the user purchase as many entries as they can to that raffle draw to increase the probability that they have it winning. So that whole idea of keeping them coming back into that LMS and making those purchases of those entries from the coins that they've earned. And then we also have auctions, where you can, it's kind of like a regular auction, except for you got to pay to play. So we want to drain coins out of as many people as we can. So being from Canada, we're really good at taxing things, and so it was an easy feature to add for me. And so you could, by the way, if you don't like taxes, you can turn that completely off. So it's just up to you. But that's really the key and driver on the engagement part. I'd say the last piece is we put time limits on those. So to address the timeliness and frequency of learning, you can limit how often or for how long these items and opportunities are available for. So I don't want to go into all of the details of our platform, because I think that probably sums up pretty much the gist of what we do. But as Randy mentioned, I'm more than happy to meet with anyone and dive into things further if you would like to see how this can be used in your learning environment. So thanks very much, everyone, for coming to listen.
Excellent. Hey, I appreciate your time here, Jeff. I should ask Brian if I could cash in some of my coins for some PTO. Maybe I'll reach out this afternoon. It's a pretty day out there. I might have to do it. All right. And any questions for Jeff, please go ahead and throw those in the chat or in the questions pane there in the GoToWebinar control panel. I'll make sure to share all of our contact information here on the last slide and in our follow-up email. All right, let's turn over to Johnny at Arlo. So I met the Arlo team a few years back at the Learning Technologies conference in London. They make a training management software that's used by hundreds of different training providers really around the world. And the Arlo solution integrates really well. It adds e-commerce, instructor-led training, course management, and different marketing tools to the toolkit, to the Moodle toolkit, just giving our clients a really complete solution so they can promote, sell, and deliver instructor-led, online, and blended learning. So Johnny, again, I know it's incredibly early out your way. I really appreciate your effort in joining us today.
Awesome. Thanks for having me aboard, Randy, and 2 great products we've seen there, and hopefully we're going to add a 3rd into the mix. All right, are you seeing the right screen there, or do I need to do that?
I am. Looks like it's full screen now. Yep, Arlo and Moodle.
Awesome. So this is a very quick whip through, I guess, of what we do. So let's get started. So we develop training management software for training providers, and particularly commercial training providers that sell training. And so what we do is that we have, lots of training providers all over the world come to us and say, man, we've got lots of moving parts within our business. We need some help streamlining that logistical process. But secondarily, we also want to grow registrations. We're trying to drive profit here. How can you help us sell more? And so we bring a layer of, and we'll talk about this in a second, but we bring a layer of features and functionality on top of Moodle to really create some transformational growth there. So a little bit about Arlo just to kick us off. So we've been in the business of making software for training providers for over 10 years. We've got customers in over 70 countries. And for them, we process over $100 million of training sales on our platform. So if we were to look now, there'd be over 40,000 courses scheduled on our platform. And I encourage you guys to have a look online. It's also, it's always good to see what customers and the general public think of a software product. You look at Capterra or G2, our customers think we're pretty good. So who are those customers? So here's just a licorice, all sorts of them. You see, you can, hopefully some of these brands are familiar, but it's also worth calling out that we represent a number of smaller training providers as well. So our software scales right down to a kind of medium to small size training business. So let's talk about what the solution is. So you guys all know and love Moodle, hopefully, and know what it's good at and what it's not so good at. And so what Arlo does is adds a layer of tools on that to really help the commercial side of your business. So we're going to dig into each of these areas in just a second, but at a really high level, what we're talking about here is being able to accept online payments, both for your Moodle courses and for your other training, for example, your instructor-led training. Arlo helps you manage your face-to-face training as well. And finally, it helps bring your systems together. So we've talked about Moodle and we've talked about Arlo, but there are other systems that you obviously use in your business, like your accounting system or your LMS or your website system. And so Arlo sits in the middle of these and helps data flow. So we're really confident that you're going to be able to run your entire training operation with Arlo and Moodle. So let's just, we've obviously got 7 or 8 minutes left here. So let's just drill into each of those areas and I'll just give you a little taste about what we're talking about. All right, so you want to sell your training. So obviously a really fully featured e-commerce site is one of the key components of that. And we offer 2 solutions. One of us is a kind of out of the box option where you can get up and running super fast. The other is if you've already invested in your brand and you're really happy and you're on a modern content management system, then we can inject your course content into that directly to start selling. Here's just a quick overview of what the out-of-the-box site looks like. You can see here, you can change colors, add logos. You can really make this your own, change the text, etc. There are various blocks you can add onto this. For example, there's a search block, there's upcoming courses. So all of these courses come from the back end of Arlo. You can promo the different types of training that you're offering. So Arlo supports all of these. You can call out particular events, for example, your upcoming conference. And you can drill people into your catalog by topic as well. So as you can see here, lots of images. You can really make it your own. So there are, as I said, there are a dozen or so pages here in this this is a free product that comes with all of our plans. So this is an upcoming course you can see here. So you can add images against each course. Every course has a date and a price, etc. And you can filter. So there's a really fully featured website technology here. If we just flick on to, however, we've got some larger customers who prefer to really bake Arlo into their existing website. So here's Auckland University Executive Education. So this is their business school. And as you can see here, you would never know that there's another product running this website. It looks seamlessly like it's part of the university site. E-consultancy deliver marketing training, another customer. So you can see here, so this is Arlo providing this content, but it's skinned up to be exactly the same as the rest of their site. And OMS deliver health and safety training, same again, different brand, different structure, Arlo underneath it. So you've attracted the interest of these potential buyers. A shopping cart's really important, right? We want to make these people buy your training. But the thing about training is it's not just your average shopping cart, especially when you're talking about instructor-led training in the mix as well. So you might want to be able to, so Arlo enables you to, or your shoppers to be able to purchase multiple registrants in the same booking, multiple courses in the same booking, define a different order contact. For example, if you've got a training administrator who's buying training on behalf of a team, this is all catered for, discounts, vouchers, and you can either collect full or partial payment at checkout. So Arlo supports credit card as well as invoice. So here's an example of one of our customers. This is Simply Academy. They deliver financial training in the UK. And as you can see here, their checkout, and I'm just going to illustrate here how this interacts with Moodle. So this is a course, Educational Robots for Absolute Beginners. So if a user wants to buy this, they either have selected at this point whether they want to be paid by invoice or credit card. And so what that does is that sends that data to Arlo. And then once that credit card payment is taken or the invoice is paid, that account is then created in Moodle and the course instructions are sent to the user. So there's a really seamless integration here between checkout, Arlo, and Moodle. So that within just a couple of seconds that data is into Moodle and that learner can start their learning. But the data flows back the other way as well. So it also flows back into Moodle, which is really important, right? So we've got data flowing back into Moodle, which is how that learner has progressed and how they've achieved. So that's so Arlo's really good at face-to-face course management as well. And I know that Moodle does this to a point, but the logistics of running a larger scale training business, I'm sure you could imagine, there's a lot of moving pieces. And so we get training providers coming to us who are just reaching a threshold where they're potentially managing their business on spreadsheets, there are duplicates creeping in, there are a whole lot of manual processes and errors. And so what Arlo does is systematize that. And so it brings in a layer of automation and templating to make the logistics of instructor-led training really easy, right down to things like transferring registrations, cancelling registrations. That's all done within a couple of clicks. So just an example, I guess, of how that looks is scheduling. So think about, you've got a course, you want to schedule an event, you need a presenter, you need a room, etc. And so we've got some pretty cool calendar tools which help you clearly see who's available, and there are equivalents for rooms and venues here about what venues are available. So you can really manage your resources. There are also tools for presenters. So what you can see here is we've got a mobile app, and so your presenters can very clearly see on their own phone what training they've got coming up, who's coming to that training, and when it is. So if we just click into one of those courses, what we can see here is another array of detail. There are 6 registrations. We click in again, and actually what the trainer can do during the event is actually tick off who's attending. You can see here who's paid and awaiting payment as well. The cool thing is that once they tick these off, that can actually trigger more automation. So it can send out their online survey saying, hey, how did you find our course? It can trigger a certificate to be sent. Here's your certificate of completion, and a whole lot more. So when you're dealing with, I guess, other businesses, and particularly around private training, you need a really good CRM. And so Arlo keeps all of your relationship data and all of your training data in a really structured way. So think of all those emails, those customers, those leads, those contacts. It keeps it all in one single place. So this is just a little sneak peek about what that looks like in the back end of Arlo. So this is looking at Felicity, who's a contact. You can see here her organization contact detail. You can see here that she's registered for 9 courses, 7 orders. She's got a couple of certifications. There's some notes against here. So it's a central place where, as a training provider, you can see your relationship with Felicity. This data is also viewable at an organization level as well. The CRM is fully customizable, so you can add all sorts of fields in here to suit your business. For example, membership number. We also offer the ability for your customers to log in and see their upcoming training. So this is Felicity again. You can see here that she's got 3 courses coming up. Each one has a venue. If you click into this, you'd see a map and stuff as well. Felicity can also pay for this outstanding event and see past courses. Oop, I went back the wrong way there. Okay, so it is also a single place which you can see all the e-learning she's purchased from you. So you can see here there's 5 courses here. Because this integrates with Moodle, there's a really nice process where you can actually see how far through the courses you are as well. So we talked about finance before, and obviously finance though is more than just taking a payment. It's also about keeping your accounting system and your business intelligence up to date. So Arlo integrates with your accounting system, for example, Xero, whereby when orders are placed, that those orders are sent to your accounting system, and then when payments are made in your accounting system, that is sent back into Arlo. And this just allows you to really automate a lot of your process and to keep a single view of what's happening. Arlo also integrates with a whole lot of other applications as well. So we've talked about Xero, we've talked about Moodle, but think of the other business applications you use. It might be Salesforce, it might be WordPress, it might be Campaign Monitor. Arlo sits in the middle of those to ensure you're not manually moving data backwards and forwards. Okay, so that's really what I wanted to cover today. So just a quick recap. You know, we all know and love Moodle. It's a great system for e-learning. And what Arlo does on top of that is adds another layer of tools to help you really commercialize that training. You'll be able to accept online payments, manage your recurring training, and bring your systems together. And we're super excited to really see how you can run your whole training operations with these 2 products. Cool, that's me, guys. Thanks for joining us. Over to you, Randy.
All right, Johnny. Hey, thanks again. Appreciate your time today. So we'll pause. We'll see if there's any additional questions. I've seen some of us have had questions answered privately here during the session. If any other questions come through, we'd be happy to answer them. If not, we really appreciate your time. I had a good dad joke and good news come across my desk as we were presenting. I'll share with everybody since I think we could all use some good news. That they said the World Health Organization announced that dogs can't contract coronavirus and that dogs who were previously held in quarantine are now released. So the World Health Organization, who let the dogs out? All right.
That is so bad. That is so bad. It's delightful. It's delightful. I love it. Like, thank you.
Tanya, you wouldn't know funny.
Oh my God, I love that joke. Are you kidding? I love dad jokes. Thank you.
All right, I don't see any other questions come across, and I don't have any other bad jokes. So let's take us out today. Again, I appreciate everybody's time. Good session, really good people to work with. If you have the need, I highly recommend you reach out to Tanya or Jeff or Johnny, whose contact information is here. We will send all registrations a link to this webinar, and we'll follow up with you as appropriate. Hey, thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye now.